straight people, what's the gayest thing you've done?
I was in basic training. The showers in basic were just this square room with shower heads all around the outside, and a small, 4 feet opening on the end to go in and out. Well, in basic training, they tend to hurry you up a little bit whenever you do anything. In a rush to get out, I side-shuffled face to face with this other guy that was coming in through that opening. Somehow, our DKS contacted damn near at the base, and slid alongside each other like a cool handshake or something. We looked into each other's eyes, and he said, "We will never speak of this." And I said, "Yep."
And now you spoke of it. Edit. Y'all should go to law school.
Accidentally kissed my friend at a Halloween party. We were all up in each other's face for a mock-aggressive stare down. So I made the kissy face to be funny. We were closer together than I thought. He said I was a good kisser.
Tried to crank it to gay P, just to check. Didn't work, but I didn't know about incog mode or clearing history, so that was a fun talk with my parents. Young me was an idiot.
Wait, they didn't bring up the P until they noticed it was gay? Greater than it's okay honey, just 2 chicks today. I'll keep an eye tomorrow, thumbs up.
Held my bro's DK for him so he could piss. He had an arm in a sling and had managed to throw his other shoulder out drunk as F in Vegas.
Couldn't he have just sat down? Lol.
Nah. 1 because bless the lad, he'd piss on his own balls before he made the toilet. 2, he was drunk. Getting up off the toilet, much less pulling pants up, etc., he'd have probably died. 3, I DK about you, but I wouldn't wish a casino pooter on my worst enemy, much less my best friend.
This was in the early days of my college career when I'd go see my friends at another college. After partying during the day-night, 4 of us would pile into a single double bed and spoon. A few times one of us would call out, "Spoon change," to signal it was time for us all to turn over and face the opposite direction. Edit. Username checks out, I get it lol.
I adore this memory and it's not even mine. Was 12 years old or so at my friend Ty's house. He was maybe 10, offered me $20 to make AX with our wieners. Needless to say, later that day I bought myself 2 12-packs of soda and some bags of chips.
X-Men origin story.
My best friend was sad. His boyfriend of a number of years cheated on him, and so my friend dumped him. He was most upset. He had booked a trip for a bear cub retreat in northern CA. It had been a year or so since we had actually seen each other, so I suggested he go, and I would come up and we could spend some time together and go wine tasting. And that's what happened. But the night I showed up was the bear cub ball. So I was his date. We grew up together. It was strictly platonic. He's more my brother, but I learned that night I'm considered a bear. We came in second place in the ball. So much back hair. Rip pool drain. We laugh about it still, and I love him very much. He met another man that weekend and they celebrated their 5th anniversary last Pi Day.
Lol is a straight guy from the area. Lazy bear weekend is a hoot. Obviously I've only been when invited by my gay friends, but it is a good time. Got my buddy laid there one time. I'm a good wingman.
I had a sleepover at my friend's house when I was 13, and we laid out some blankets and fell asleep in his living room. I woke up first to him spooning me, and I didn't move at all because I wanted to avoid any awkward moment in our friendship by having us both know of that cuddle moment, so I laid there as still as I could for maybe 30 minutes until he woke up and quickly but carefully got off of me. I then got up 10 minutes later, and that moment now doesn't exist in our friendship.
This is great because you both know, but only you know that both of you know.
Had to hold my buddy's hand while the doctor played hand puppet with his prostate.
You're a good friend.
Slapped my friend's ass and then kicked it after he stole my strepsils because his voice sounded horrible during a residential school trip. In the night he slapped my ass again, so I slapped it back. It ended up being a fight until like 12 in the night. All other 6 kids who was watching joined in the fight. That meant everyone was slapping each other's ass. This was in the boys' room.
Imagine what that sounded like from outside. Clap 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 clap. Someone groans. I is that the hardest you can do. FUUUUUUBTCH. Even more clapping. Giggling. Clap 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 clap.
Me and my best bud, at the time, accidentally interlocked our ass cheeks in bed together.
Accidentally.
Well, I had a comfortably but not publicly out gay kid convince me that the best way to practice having sex with a girl, we were 13 at the time, was to practice humping each other. I had zero idea that was an issue and we dry humped for an hour or so.
OMG, I just had a flashback to my childhood. I remember I had a sleepover, around 13 years old, at a friend's house. We played soccer together and there were other girls there, too. I remember we all slept in the attic, which was a really cool hangout place, and we had air mattresses and sleeping bags. I was sleeping in a sleeping bag and I remember waking up to my friend. She somehow convinced me to practice kissing, so we'd be prepared for boys. And I recall her climbing on top of me and making out hard, and she was grinding just as hard. It was not unpleasant, and I have no idea if anyone realized what we were doing. Your story reminded me of the buried memory. We never made out again.
Only Swedish people know what happened in the pillow room.
Had a threesome and ended up liking the girl better.
A threesome with a couple was how I finally confirmed I was gay.
You know when pee just cuts to the dude's balls.
And then you sweat droplets.
Made out with a dude. He's now my best man. Edit. Really? Why is this my top comment?
When my best friend and I were in Thailand, we met this throuple. 2 chicks and a guy. I found one of the girls so effing attractive. So, why no, we were hanging out and drinking, and eventually I make a move, noticing how open they all were. She tells me, yeah, I'll make out with you, but only if my BF says it's okay. So I ask him and he replies, you can kiss her, but first you have to make out with me. So I did, and then I made out with her. And now she's my best friend's baby mama.
Damn, I was expecting to find a bunch of weird poo, but a lot of this are surprisingly wholesome.
I watched an episode of Glee once. I also like to dildo my ass, but I led with the strong argument. Edit. Slow clap. Figures my most upvoted comment is about me sticking a dildo up my ass.
Nature really trolled men by putting the G-spot in their ass.
Shared a pillow and sleeping bag with another guy. I'm 6 feet 3,200 pounds and he was 6 feet 180 pounds, so it was a tight squeeze, but it was minus 45 degrees C and we were in a cabin without heat, so it was worth it. Edit. To answer some common questions. We were in Northern Ontario, Canada. When we went to bed we were back to back. When we woke up I was the little spoon. No, we weren't wearing socks. No, I don't think survival is gay, but this is the gayest thing I've personnel done. Yes, we said no homo first and we were making gay jokes the entire time. Edit. 2. We weren't wearing socks because we were trying to disperse body heat throughout the sleeping bag. Because we didn't have loose socks and it would restrict circulation, especially with us not moving around. And we were always told to not wear socks while camping in the cold here if you're in a sleeping bag, because your feet will sweat and they'll get even colder, similar to not wearing a coat while hiking in the cold here. Better to be a little cold than a little too warm because of sweat.
Brokeback cabin? Me and my friends one night got really drunk and started streaking around where we live, very small area. Got so mad lad we started handshaking each other's DKS. How do you do? We would say. Love the lads with all my heart.
Time will be measured as before and after this comment.
Lived with a gay guy for a couple years in college who seemingly befriended me, at the beginning at least, because he hoped I was gay too. Then came out to me and still wanted to see if I was interested in sharing an apartment. I was really honored he was open to sharing that part of his life with me and moving in together even after finding out I wasn't also gay. We were great friends, and other than the time I accidentally burned some rice in one of his pots, I replaced it. We had a great living situation. This was in a fairly conservative area and time, so he and our friends were really careful about who to come out to, and our apartment became the place to be for our gay and lesbian friends. Once a month we'd have a big gay weekend so everyone could have fun and feel safe and free in this difficult place for them. We'd have everyone stay in for drinks and snacks and video games, then go to the drag night to dance at the only place anywhere nearby that was accepting and encouraging of LGBTA for one night a month. Then come back to the apartment, lay a couple mattresses on the floor of the den, and watch goofy movies or, depending on intoxication levels, the funniest pee we could find. It was awesome. I actually would have done much better, hookup-wise, had I been gay. Alas. But I did fine on the straight side. He and I would help each other since we had opposite target audiences, and I made treasured friendships.
French kissed a guy on a drunk dare. Biggest surprise for me was that it just felt like kissing laughing face. I know it sounds stupid, but I thought it will somehow feel different with a man, but it didn't really. This experience actually taught me a lot about sexuality.
I misread it and was wondering why it mattered that he was French. Compared DK size.
My best friend is gay. He got kicked out of his family when they found out, took his car, money, and threw him out. So, I had an empty room and let him stay with me and get him a job. But, there would be times he would just come to my room while bawling. There were nights when we spooned until he passed out. Nothing ever happened more than that. He just needed to be held and to know he's loved.
You're a really good friend.
Kissed my buddy, but it was a bet from other friend they would $5 us $20 each, so we kissed and the money they showed us was fake suyi.
Somehow I managed to give the world 3 gay sons. One of my gay friends from HS found out and asked, "WTF man, you got glitter in your spunk?" Laughing face.
Do you?
Hooked up with another girl. She puked in my sink, stole my vibrator and wrote a note in my MAC lipstick in the mirror that said sorry for puking in your sink. No regrets here. Edit, I didn't expect this to blow up. Or should I say explode? Thanks for the silver, hooray, maybe my first reward ever.
Well, according to some asshole kids in my class, I was gay as F for taking dance when I was a kid, tap, jazz, contemporary, etc. Joke was on them though, since I spent all my time with girls in tights and leotards who were in incredible shape from dancing while they spent all their time with other guys in locker rooms that smelled like balls.
I used to go to dance camp every summer when I was a kid. It was honestly a heaven. Full of beautiful fit girls who could dance. It's true that when I got older I found that most of the adult male dances were actually gay, so that particular stereotype was legit, at least in this group.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a lot of gay dudes in dance, but they can make some great wingmen when it comes to asking dance girls out, especially during that awkward stage where you haven't really figured out how to approach a girl yet.
Was on the swim team, some pretty interesting times in the locker room.
Figured out I was straight. The unusual way.
I, 18M at the time, was receiving an amazing BJ from my girlfriend, 18F at the time, now wife. We were in her room at her mum's house with all kinds of magazine cutouts on the walls. We didn't really discuss where I was going to come, but knew she didn't want a shot to the mouth. Lost in the moment and brought to completion, I turned 90 degrees as quickly as possible and ejaculated on a picture of Josh Hartnett's face.
Lucky number Slimmin.
Nothing. I've said no homo before doing anything with other men.
My buddy recently forgot to say no homo after a wild anal session. It wasn't the first time as well, and I'm beginning to suspect he actually might be gay. Does this make me gay as well? Because I explicitly said no homo.
If you said no homo, you are good.
A coworker made a pass at my GF at a social event. He said, "It's a free country," and tried to shake hands, so I pretended I was cool and gave him a bro hug but didn't let go. When he looked at me puzzled, I inched my face close to his and romantically closed my eyes like going in for a kiss. When he pushed me off, he was disgusted and said, "WTF?" I told him, "That's exactly how she felt. Stay the F away from us."
I had a variant of this experience. I was very drunk at a party and noticed a girl had been watching me sing karaoke with interest. I approached her and we started making out. After a brief session, a minute or two, I went to look for another drink. As I got up, a very angry-looking man was storming my way while flexing his chest and staring at me with contempt. I was pretty damn sure I was seconds away from an ass beating, and that he was protecting the girl that had been making out with me. I was way too drunk to defend myself. So as he approached, I smiled, opened my arms as if to hug him and tilted my head slightly to the side as if inviting him to be next in the makeout session. He immediately looked disgusted and backed away. I avoided getting beat up by pretending to be ready to make out with an angry guy. I'm so straight I could suck a DK and it wouldn't be gay.
My best friend is gay. We were drinking with some other friends at a bar when a very aggressive drunk woman refused to stop hitting on him. He made it very clear he was gay, but she ignored it or just flat out refused to believe him. I was doing my own thing and talking to people when I noticed how uncomfortable he was. I kinda just listened in at first and heard her say something like, "Trust me, you won't be gay once I'm done with you." Admittedly, I laughed and thought about just leaving him to it. He's very capable of dealing with people that bother him. I wasn't exactly sure why, but he was very weird about just walking off from her or telling her forcefully to stop. I observed the back and forth a bit more and realized the woman was clearly on the spectrum, and then it all clicked. My friend's brother has autism and it's an issue he is very passionate about, so it made sense why he wasn't being blunt with her. I am sure he would have figured out a way to tactfully exit, but I was a bit buzzed and just expedited it. I walked over to him, put my arm around him and planted a kiss on his cheek and said, "Hey honey, who's your new friend?" Both of them were shocked, but he composed himself quickly and introduced me to her as his boyfriend. She stared blankly for a few seconds, said, hi, then walked off, and that was the end of it. I mentioned his shock in the situation because despite him and I being friends for years, he always had this strange perception that I wouldn't be alright with him being gay due to my background, former military and law enforcement. He even hid his sexuality very effectively for the first couple years of our friendship. That honestly hurt me a bit. 1. Because he didn't think I'd accept him, and 2. Because I was always talking about women to him and felt like a total ass. I know this may not be a super exciting story and nothing about it was very gay, but it's the only thing that came to mind. Cheeky smiley face.
The sweetest thing I've ever read.
Thank you for watching. We upload new videos every day, so be sure to come back for more fun. Please consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed the video.